I had no idea the British press was so bigoted.
This one's wife. How they grift for the awards. Hello, I'm HG Tudor. Probably the most memorable description of Harry and this one's wife was when Bill Simmons, an executive of Spotify, referred to them both as fucking grifters. Thereafter, the label has certainly stuck, and the behaviours of the gruesome twosome have done little to change that perception amongst many that that's what they are. A pair of talentless grifters who are always on the make, seeking to acquire the benefit of money by doing very little, promising plenty and delivering next to nothing. One area of their lives where this grifting has been evident is in relation to the provision of awards. I've explained elsewhere how awards are important to a narcissist such as this one's wife. Put simply, she can triangulate people with them. The receipt of an award, with an audience that is clapping, with people that are praising, demonstrates in that moment that those individuals are under control. Their applause, their appreciation, is positive fuel for this one's wife, something that she needs. In essence, it makes her feel important, special, and powerful. The award itself she can then utilise in essentially two ways. The first is to make reference to it to control people and draw fuel from them, and the other aspect is for her to utilise that award for the purposes of the management of her facade, which is, I'm a talented and special individual who's kind and empathic. Look, I've been granted an award for the furtherance of women's issues. Therefore, you, poor individual, should appreciate me and recognise that I am brilliant and great and that I advance the causes of women because, look, I have an award. Accordingly, the provision of an award is important to certain narcissists, and for the mid-range narcissist that this one's wife is, she wants those awards. She also requires them for Harry because, remember, when it suits her, Harry is an extension of her, and his achievements become her achievements. But the fact is that the two of them actually grift for these awards rather than securing them on merit. There are many people, and this also includes other narcissists, that achieve things and rightfully receive their reward. The individual who runs the fastest in the 100 metres at the Olympics receives a gold medal. There's no disputing the fact that they ran the fastest time. It can be seen. And so long as they weren't disqualified as a consequence of cheating or doping, then that is entirely meritorious. There are individuals that have perhaps written fantastic books that receive an appropriate recognition by virtue of, say, the Booker Prize. There may be somebody that gave a tremendous performance in a film, so they win Best Actor or Best Actress. A football team makes its way to the European Championship finals, where they win. They have demonstrated themselves to be the most effective side through the knockout stages and the group stages, so that they win the European Championship. There might be debates as to whether they had an easy ride to the final and whether they played particularly well, but you can't dispute the fact that they are the winners, and therefore the award is merited. But it is wholly clear when it comes to the gruesome twosome that their awards are not merited. Let's just take a brief look back at the achievements of these two individuals. Let's start with Harry. Harry got 11 GCSEs. He then went on and got 2 A-levels, which is what is studied in the United Kingdom between usually the ages of 16 and 18. He got a B in art and a D in geography. It's also believed that he was given some assistance to get his grade in art. Getting 2 A-levels at B and D is not particularly impressive. Your glorious narrator achieved 5, all of them A's. And there are other people that secure 3, 4, 5 A-levels with superior grades to that of Prince Harry. We know that he is not the sharpest knife in the drawer. He was house captain of games. He represented his school at rugby, cricket and polo. He went into the combined cadet force at Eton and then joined the army. He, of course, wasn't up to the job at Sandhurst, and it's well documented that essentially he got through that by virtue of being royalty. Thereafter, he has continued to engage in various patronages, charitable activities. But any awards won during that period of time? No, there were not, because he's not particularly clever, he's not particularly talented. What about this one's wife? Well, she went to Northwestern University and graduated with a double major in theatre and international studies, although there are those that query whether that actually occurred, because there does seem to be some confusion as to whether you can actually study those subjects as a double major. She worked at the Glass Slipper project, volunteering whilst she was at university. Thereafter, she had a job as an intern at the US Embassy in Buenos Aires in Argentina, but she only got that because of the intervention of her uncle. She then didn't score high enough in the Foreign Service Officer test to move forward within the US Department of Defense, I believe it was, resulting in the fact that she attended a study abroad in Madrid, which didn't go anywhere, and she entered the world of acting, where she had a number of bit parts, primarily secured as a consequence of her father's influence and that of Trevor Engelson, before she then had her cable series, Suits. So far, any awards? No. She also got involved as an advocate for UN Entity for Gender Equality. She was a counsellor of One Young World. She toured with the United Service Organisation, which of course we all remember the hilarious stage antics in that regard, see parts passing. And she was a global ambassador for World Vision Canada when she went on a personalised photo shoot to Rwanda, I think it was. All in all, much of her achievements have been off the back of other people. Any awards? No. But then, look at what has happened since. Well, it was only recently that the propaganda machine that is Newsweek sought to continue to manage the facade of this one's wife by reminding us of the awards that they've received. That Harry is about to receive the S.B. Pat Tillman Award for Service, that he had been awarded Living Legends of Aviation, that this one's wife had received the award from the Women of Vision, that they had both received the Robert F. Kennedy Nipple of Grope Award, that they were both honoured with the NAACP Image Awards, the President's Award, that there was a People's Choice Award for Pop Podcast in 2022, and the Gracie Award for Top Entertainment Podcast Host. Now, isn't it interesting that two individuals who hitherto had not been awarded anything whatsoever, that were clearly chronic underachievers, that all of a sudden they start to gain these awards? How could that be? Is it the case that something happened like in the film Limitless, where they suddenly popped a pill and it opened up areas of their brain that they had never accessed until now, that all of a sudden they found themselves competent, intelligent, charismatic and able, thus causing them to garner the awards? No, of course not. Did they suddenly work much harder so that they could receive these awards? No. The fact is that they wanted to go down the celebrity route, and as I explained to you at the outset of this video, the receipt of awards is important to certain narcissists. None of those awards that I've just described there have been won as a consequence of genuine achievement. They haven't. For instance, suggesting that this one's wife should win an award for her podcast, which only lasted one season, was generally ridiculed, slumped after initial listening, is ridiculous. The fact to suggest that these two individuals ought to receive awards for service when all they've done is line their own pockets and whinge, again, is preposterous. What actually happens, and it's consummate grifting as ever with these two, is that their PR people contact various award providers. They contact the institutions, the organisations that offer awards, and basically they're on the beg. That's right. These organisations don't sit down and think, right, who have we got who ought to be nominated for the Pat Tillman Service Award? How about Prince Harry? He's a thoroughly good chap who's never done anything wrong in his life and embodies service. He's never complained about his family. He's never disgraced his military background by boasting about the number of kills that he's engaged in. He has never been known as Bunker Harry, hiding away, protected by Gurkhas. No, he's a thoroughly outstanding chap, a pillar of moral fibre. Let's give him the award. And thus, the awards committee of that particular organisation decide he is an appropriate recipient. No, not at all. Nor is it the case that with regard to the NAACP awards, that their relevant awards committee would have thought, you know what, who should get the President's Award? Well, we've got a range of individuals, which let's also include this one's wife and Harry. After all, they really are individuals that embody service. No. What actually happened was that the PR people acting for this one's wife and Harry contacted the relevant organisations, essentially offering this. If you give one or the other, or both, an award, this will provide you with excellent coverage. Their PR people put out calls to ascertain what awards they might receive and basically say, if you give them an award, you'll get a lot of publicity because this one's wife and Harry are much talked about. Thus, everybody benefits. You get more attention on your awards ceremony as a whole and the causes that it relates to, and they get an award. In some instances, there might be a financial inducement, as has been suggested in the past. Accordingly, Harry and this one's wife never win anything on a meritorious basis. They do so simply because they are a well-known couple and they shill their celebrity status to these award providers on the basis of suggesting, give us an award and you'll get a lot of publicity. Thus, those awards that they have been given ought really to be described in terms of they have won those awards because they are notorious, that they're infamous, or if you're being generous, they're famous. That's it. Nothing to do with talent at podcasts, nothing to do with the provision of actual service, and everything to do with the fact that as a consequence of their behaviours, they're two of the most talked about people on the planet, and they leverage that fame or notoriety for the purposes of saying, give us an award. It's that cynical, but that's how it's done. And in essence, the way that they've grifted for money, they grift for awards. None of them are deserved, none of them are merited, and they simply use their global fame as a means to get reputation, to gain awards, and that this one's wife does so for the reasons of the pursuit of the prime aims. That's how they grift for their awards. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.